Well, hello, YouTube. This is the absolute first time that I've ever done one of these YouTube live videos, and I have no idea what to expect with this. Zero idea, zero. But I've got some things to say, and I thought I would use this as a forum to say them. For a little while now, I've been on a platform called Periscope. And that's been an interesting experience. But it just doesn't seem to be a lot of people there. I don't know if there's really anything different to expect with YouTube Live. I do have a somewhat established YouTube following, if you will. I don't even know the terminology. A fan base. For me to associate myself with something called a fan base is just kind of foreign to me, but I don't know what else to call it. And I don't even know if people watch this live or what, but and I'm looking at the indicators here on the screen. It looks like I have 0 viewers and 0 thumbs up, so far off to a great start. Nowhere to go but up with the marketing. But anyway, so I started talking about this on my Periscope channel, and I just, I'm not getting really anywhere with Periscope, so I thought I would kill that broadcast and just kind of start fresh here with YouTube Live, which is tied to my Gmail account, which I think is taking the place of Google Hangouts or Hangouts Live on Air, I think is what they called it a little while ago. So anyway, on to the topic at hand, thoughts on cars. And I'm really interested to see what feedback I get on this. So I am in a position now where I need to purchase a vehicle. The circumstances behind that purchase I'll keep anonymous for now. But I'm looking at buying, I want a hatchback. I don't know what it is about hatchbacks or lift gates, but I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I want a hatchback. Maybe that's going to be my midlife crisis, a car with a hatchback. So if that's all it comes to, then I'll be happy. I don't have a desire for a sports car or I would like to have a motorcycle again at some point, but I'm not really gotten the bug for a motorcycle. I've just really gotten the bug for a car with a hatchback. So guilty. Anyway, so I'm looking at a few different models. I have 4 different cars I'm looking at. So number 1 is the Mini Cooper. Now, I've done a little bit of research on the Mini Cooper, and it looks like the cars that you want to stay away from with the first generation, the most recent generations. The first generation is an S version with an automatic transmission. It's got the CVT transmission, and I hear that has been giving that particular model a lot of problems. So I'm going to stay away from that. So they recommend that you get an S, an automatic, regular automatic, or an S with a manual. So the S version with a manual. So I actually drove an S with a manual. It's got the supercharged engine. It does not have a turbocharger on there. It's got a supercharger. Fun little car to drive. Drove one last week. It was neat. It was a lot of fun. Very small car. Very small. So with respect to the hatchback part, very small hatchback. So I don't know that that's going to be a good fit for me. Another reason that I'm looking at buying a car is my second son is looking at driving soon, and by soon I mean within the year. It's going to be a car that he's going to be interested in driving as well. So whether or not I give him that car or keep it for myself, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do there, though. So anyway, drove this little car. So that's car number one. Car number two that I am considering is a Ford Focus. The Ford Fiestas, I believe, are a little bit too small. The Ford Fusions, the midsize sedan, are just, I think, a little bit too big for me. My recent history with cars is that I have had I bought a Volkswagen Passat 2.0 turbo in 2009. Loved that car. Great gas mileage, decent performance. Come to find out later on from a mechanic friend of mine in Greenwood that you should stay away from the 2.0 turbos, made by Volkswagen. He didn't go into details, but he said that the inline fives are the way to go. He said that that's a solid engine. So the 2006 Passat that I bought in 2009, I very quickly totaled. Very sad day. I took that money from the settlement and got a Jetta. It's a 2006 Jetta that I bought in 2010. Rock solid car. My goodness, that has been the best car that I've ever owned. It's had some issues, some cosmetic issues. The headliner has fallen. I've fought with the headliner for the entire time that I've had the car. And so there's that, and there's been some other things. Wheel bearing I had to change, some other things I can't remember, but overall it's been an awesome little car. My plan is to keep that car and let all four of my drivable children, by drivable I mean those who will be eligible to drive, which are 4 out of the 5, have them share that car and keep it until all 4 of them drive, and then we will be good to go with that car. Still no followers, nothing, nobody. I should have, maybe I should advertise. Maybe I should, hey, Johnny's going live in 5 minutes or something. I don't know. So anyway, that's my history with cars. I currently, with my job, I have a company car. It is a 2015 Chevy Malibu. Decent car, doesn't get my blood pumping. It's a 4-cylinder engine. It's got some bells and whistles on it, but all in all, just does not get my juices flowing. So I probably will not go with another mid-size sedan again. I just don't. It just doesn't. I like the performance of a small hatchback. Okay, so back to my cars that I'm considering. So we talked about the Mini Cooper. Next, I would like to talk about the Ford Focus that I'm looking at. I have not driven a Ford Focus yet. My requirements for a hatchback, again, I just want a hatchback. I'm at that point in my life. It's got to be a hatchback. I'm leaning towards a manual transmission car. I don't know why. I have not had a manual transmission vehicle since 2001, 2002, which I sold my Chevy S10 to buy a larger truck, and I have not had a manual since. That Mini Cooper that I drove had a manual transmission. I killed it twice. I was just a little bit out of practice, but it was fun to drive. It was so much fun to drive, and I think I want that manual transmission just for 2 reasons. 1, they're fun to drive. 3 reasons. 1, they're fun to drive. 2, you can get a little bit better gas mileage from a manual transmission. And number 3 is the hands-free aspect to it. I will admit that I'm a little bit tempted from time to time to look at my phone. I feel that if I have a manual transmission, it will reduce that distraction a little bit. So those are the 3 reasons I'm looking at a manual transmission. Ford Focus. A lot of manual transmission Ford Focuses out there. They are relatively inexpensive cars, looks like. I still don't know why that is. I have not done a lot of research with the Ford Focus, but I feel like there are a lot of them out there. It seems like a good solid car to drive. It's got a decent amount of space in it, and it's got the hatchback, which are relatively large. Looks like a trunk. So there's that. I plan to drive one soon, maybe even later on today. I'm not exactly sure. I do like the Ford Focus vehicles as well. I'm sorry, the Ford Fusions. But again, I think I want to get away from a mid-sized sedan just from a fuel economy standpoint. I see myself driving this new car quite a bit, so I do want to get some decent gas mileage. I may still Uber with the car, so it needs to be a 5-passenger car. So I want to get a relatively small 5-passenger car, and I think the hatchback is the way to go. Car number 3 is the Mazda 3 hatchback version. Again, the Mazda is a solid car, it seems like. I've got a brother-in-law who had a 2006 Mazda. He bought it new, and I don't think he had a lot of complaints about it. Mazda seems to be, they've been around for years. They've got a solid reputation. Again, I have not done any research on the Mazda 3 hatchback, so it could be a lemon. I don't know. So I'll have to maybe do a follow-up video for all 0 of you who are interested, apparently. So, so this car number 3. Again, it does not have to have a manual transmission, but I do think I want a hatchback. I also think I want a sunroof. This car does not have a sunroof, and I really miss having a sunroof. So, sunroof, moonroof. I don't. I think that might be a deal breaker. I think there are so many out there to choose from. I think that I could probably get one with a moonroof. So, anyway. A little bit noisier, but I think the sacrifice is totally worth it. So, car number 4 that I'm looking at is what did I talk about? The Mini Cooper, the Ford Focus, the Mazda 3, and number 4. I just might go tried and true with a Volkswagen Golf. There are also a ton of those out there. I have driven a Golf before. Fun little car to drive. Again, I think a manual transmission might be the way to go with a Golf. It's just they're made in 6-speed manual transmissions. And it's a fun car. And the reason for the Golf is that Jetta. That Jetta has just been a rock solid car for as long as I've had it, which is going on 9 years I've had that car, which is the longest I have ever owned a car. And the car is it is bulletproof. So I might go tried and true with the Jetta, or with the Golf again. I believe there is also a hatchback version of the Jetta. There are not a lot of those around. The Golf just seems like a fun car to drive. So I might drive one of those very soon and see how that performs. Also in the Volkswagen family is the Audi. Audi makes a hatchback, 4-door hatchback as well. A couple of those listed in the Indianapolis area. Might try one of those as well. They're a little older, but the price is right. I don't want to go over. I'd like to stay under $10,000 for a new car. We will just have to see how that goes. So, anyway, if anybody has any other recommendations for me, I am all ears. I am all eyes at the moment, but again, I've got no viewers, so maybe we'll get some feedback offline. I really appreciate your feedback. And now, since I've never done this before, I've got to figure out how to stop it. So bear with me as I awkwardly sign off of this this broadcast. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? The answer is end. Goodbye.